Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into this really intense philosophy from Grant Cardone called the 10x rule. And the whole idea is pretty simple, but also kind of radical. It says that if you want extraordinary results, you've got to stop thinking about what's realistic and start aiming like 10 times higher.
Okay, let me start by asking you something directly. Think about your goals right now. For your career, your money, just your life in general. Are they realistic?
And if you said yes to that, well, according to the 10x rule, that's the problem. Yeah, you heard me right. The whole argument is that this idea of being realistic is actually the biggest thing holding most of us back from what we're really capable of.
So the whole deal with this philosophy is that it's trying to tackle our kind of cultural addiction to being average. From a young age, we're taught to shoot for what's acceptable, what's normal, what's comfortable. But the 10x mindset argues that this is just a recipe for disaster. And here's why. Anything that's built on average is just fragile. It can't withstand pressure. Average goals, average actions, they're going to fail you. It's not a matter of if, but when you run into some unexpected trouble, a tough economy or even just some bad luck.
And when you look at the data, it's actually kind of shocking. Get this, the average worker reads less than one book a year. Top CEOs, they read over 60. That is not a small difference in habits, folks. That's a massive, massive gap in knowledge and action that leads, surprise, surprise, to a massive gap in results.
Okay, so if average is the trap, then the 10x rule is basically the escape plan. And look, this isn't some tiny little tweak to your mindset. It's a complete top-to-bottom overhaul of how you approach, well, everything.
And here it is, the core formula. It's two parts, and this is crucial. It's not just about grinding harder. It's about radically blowing up your thinking first and then matching that bigger thinking with massive action. You can't have one without the other. It just falls apart.
Yeah, you can think of it like this powerful cycle. Step 1, you set goals that honestly feel a little crazy, like way beyond realistic. And then, step 2, you take all that big energy and you channel it into taking a massive amount of action to actually make it happen.
But this isn't just about what you do. It's way deeper than that. It's about totally changing how you think. So let's break down a few of the key mental shifts you have to make to really operate on this 10x level.
Okay, first up, fear. Most of us see fear as a big red stop sign, right? Well, the 10x mindset flips that completely on its head. It says fear is actually a compass. That nervous feeling in your gut, that's not a signal to run away. It's a signal that you're heading in exactly the right direction.
So what's it pointing to? It's pointing directly at the one thing you absolutely must do to move forward. So if you're terrified of making that sales call, guess what? That's the call you have to make. Feeling nervous about that huge new project? That's the one you need to jump on, right now. Why? Because fear loves time. The longer you wait, the more you hesitate, the bigger and stronger that fear gets. The only way to beat it is to starve it, and you do that by taking immediate, decisive action. Don't give it time to grow. All right, the next mental shift is a bit controversial. It's all about reclaiming the word obsession. We're usually taught that being obsessed is a bad thing, right? That it's unhealthy or unbalanced. Well, the 10x rule says, nope, not at all. In fact, it argues the exact opposite. Obsession is the gift. It's the natural, powerful, focused state you need to be in to do anything truly great. Come on, think about it. Do you think we would have ever gotten to the moon if a whole bunch of people weren't completely and totally obsessed with making it happen? And the last big mindset piece is this. You have to completely ditch any and all victim thinking. The blame game is over. Success isn't something that just randomly happens to lucky people. It's created. It's manufactured by people who take 100% responsibility for everything in their life. Because when you accept total accountability, for the good and the bad, you suddenly reclaim all the power. There's no more blaming the economy or your boss or your circumstances. No, you are the one in the driver's seat. You become the source of your own results.
So, okay, once you've got that mindset dialed in, how does it actually play out in the real world? What do you do? Well, it all comes down to what Cardone calls the 4 degrees of action, and which one you choose to live in.
And look, let's be honest. We've all been at each of these 4 levels at some point in our lives. Doing nothing, retreating, taking normal action. But the argument here is that those first 3, they're just recipes for failure, or at best, mediocrity. The only one that gets you to that extraordinary place is the 4th one, massive action.
And check out the difference here. It's huge. Normal action feels safe, right? It's what everyone else is doing. But it's fragile. The second real pressure hits, it shatters. Massive action is a whole other beast. It's about creating so much forward momentum that you actually create new problems for yourself. But they're good problems, like, oh no, we have too many customers. That's a problem you want to have.
Okay, and all of this massive thinking, this massive action, it all leads to the final and maybe most provocative part of the 10x rule, the end game. This isn't just about being a better player in your field. It's about completely changing the game.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The rule says, customer satisfaction is the wrong target. Now, in a world that is completely obsessed with customer service, that sounds like absolute heresy, right? But the logic is that focusing on satisfaction first is like putting the cart way before the horse.
Think about it. The logic is actually super simple. You can't make a customer happy if you don't have a customer in the first place. So your number one, primary, relentless focus has to be on getting attention and acquiring customers. Period. And why this relentless focus? Because it's all in service of the ultimate goal, which is a wild one: achieving omnipresence. The idea is to be everywhere. You want your name, your brand, to be so totally connected with your field that when people think of that industry, they automatically think of you. The goal isn't just to compete, it's to dominate.
So in the end, the 10x rule completely reframes success. It's not just something that would be nice to have. It's presented as your duty, a moral imperative. The argument is that not living up to your full potential is actually an ethical failure. And that leaves us with one last, pretty heavy question you have to answer for yourself.